My daughter called me last week. She was crying, not because something terrible had happened, because she was exhausted. The baby hadn't slept. Her husband was traveling. She hadn't eaten a real meal in 2 days. I said, "Let me come over. I'll hold the baby. You take a shower. I'll make you soup." There was a long pause. Then she said, "Thanks, Mum, but we're following a routine." The sleep consultant said not to let anyone else put her down. "It's nothing personal. Nothing personal." I hung up the phone. I sat in my kitchen. The soup simmered on the stove. The extra set of baby clothes I had washed and folded sat in a bag by the door, and I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Lonely. Not the lonely of being alone. I have friends. I have a garden. I have my husband. This was different. This was the lonely of having so much love to give and no one to give it to. This is the quiet loneliness of being a grandmother who isn't allowed to help. When my daughter was pregnant, I imagined all the things I would do. I would hold the baby while she napped. I would rock her in the same rocking chair I rocked my daughter in. I would sing the same lullabies. I would make chicken soup from scratch and bring it over in a thermos. I would be the grandmother who shows up without being asked. I practiced. I read modern parenting books so I wouldn't be old-fashioned. I learned about wake windows and safe sleep and babbled weaning. I wanted to be helpful, not a burden. When the baby was born, I stood outside the hospital window because only 2 visitors were allowed. I didn't complain. I waited. I finally held my granddaughter when she was 3 days old. She was so small. She fit in the crook of my arm. She smelled like milk in heaven. I cried. I thought, this is it. This is the beginning of everything. I was wrong. The first time I was told I couldn't help, it was small. My daughter said, "Mum, don't pick her up when she cries. We're letting her learn to self-soothe." I said, "Okay," but I didn't understand. When my daughter cried, I picked her up. She turned out fine. The second time was bigger. I offered to babysit so they could have a date night. My daughter said, "We're not ready to leave her yet. Maybe when she's older." I said, "Okay." I put my phone down. I looked at my calendar. I had blocked off that Saturday. I unblocked it. The third time, I was at their house. The baby was fussing. I reached out to pick her up. My daughter said, "Mum, don't." The sleep consultant said we have to follow the schedule exactly. If she sleeps off schedule, the whole night is ruined. I pulled my hands back. I put them in my lap. I watched my granddaughter cry, and I felt something crack inside me. That's the thing about loneliness. It doesn't come all at once. It comes in small pieces. A hand pulled back. A Saturday unblocked. A soup that never gets eaten. After my daughter hung up the phone that night, the night she was crying, and I offered soup, I sat in my kitchen for a long time. The soup simmered. I turned it off. I ladled it into a container. I put it in the fridge. I never brought it over. My husband came in. He said, "You all right?" I said, "Fine." He knew I wasn't fine, but he didn't push. He's a good man. He just put his hand on my shoulder and went back to watching TV. I sat there. I thought about all the things I had saved. The rocking chair, the hand-knit blankets, the little silver spoon with my daughter's initials. I had kept them for this, for my granddaughter, for the chance to be useful. Now they sat in a closet, waiting. I started to wonder if I was the problem. Was I too pushy? Did I offer too much? Did I make my daughter feel like I thought she couldn't do it herself? I replayed every conversation. I looked for my mistake. I couldn't find it, because I didn't think I had made one. I just wanted to help, and wanting to help had made me a problem. That's the quiet loneliness. It's not anger. It's not resentment. It's just an empty rocking chair, a closet full of blankets, a container of soup in the fridge that no one eats. I started talking to my friends, the ones who were grandmothers too, and I realized I wasn't alone. My friend Margaret drives 40 minutes to her daughter's house every Tuesday. She sits in the car for 10 minutes before she goes in. She says she needs to prepare herself. Prepare for what? For being told I'm doing it wrong, she says. For holding my tongue when they tell me not to let the baby sleep on his belly. For smiling when they hand me a list of rules. My friend Carol's daughter lives 15 minutes away. Carol has seen her grandson 6 times in 8 months. They have a nanny, she says. They don't need me. She laughs when she says it. But her eyes are wet. My friend Diane is the lucky one. Her daughter lets her help. But Diane says, I have to follow a script. I can't say because I said so. I can't let him cry for more than 2 minutes. I have to send a photo of every snack I give him. Diane is grateful, but she's also tired. She says, I raised 3 kids. I never thought I'd have to prove I knew how to do it. Listening to them, I realized something. We weren't just lonely. We were grieving. Grieving the grandmother we thought we would be. The one who holds the baby while the mother sleeps. The one who says, don't worry, I've got this. The one who is needed. Instead, we are guests, visitors, extra hands that are only allowed when scheduled. One night, I couldn't sleep. I started reading. I wanted to understand. Why was my generation being pushed aside? Was it us? Or was it something bigger? I found research on the grandmother effect. Studies showing that grandmothers improve child outcomes, lower stress, higher emotional security, fewer behavioral problems. One study even showed that children who spend time with their grandmothers have stronger social skills and less anxiety. I found studies on intergenerational learning, how children who know their grandparents have a stronger sense of identity and belonging, how they develop empathy earlier because they interact with someone older, slower, different. I found articles about the loneliness epidemic among older adults. Not just social loneliness, the loneliness of being unneeded, of having skills and love and time and no one to give it to. And I realized something. The problem wasn't my daughter. The problem wasn't me. The problem was a culture that had turned parenting into a profession, not a community. A culture that values experts over experience. A culture that made my daughter afraid to accept help because the schedule might break. I didn't blame her. I blamed the system that made her feel like a bad mother if she let me hold the baby for an hour. That realization didn't take away the loneliness, but it took away the guilt. I wasn't being pushy. I wasn't overstepping. I was just a grandmother who loves her granddaughter, and there is nothing wrong with that. I decided to write my daughter a letter. Not an angry letter, not a guilt letter, an honest one. I wrote, my sweet girl, I'm not writing to make you feel bad. I'm writing because I miss you, and I miss her. I know you're doing what you think is best. I know the experts have told you to follow routines and limits. I know you're exhausted and overwhelmed and trying so hard. But I need you to know something. When you say don't pick her up or we don't need help right now, it's not just a schedule change for me. It's a door closing. A small one, but after enough of them close, I'm standing in a hallway with no doors left. I don't need to be in charge. I don't need to do things my way. I just need to be useful. To hold her while you shower. To make you soup. To be someone you call when you're falling apart. I love you. I love her. And I'm not going anywhere. Even if you keep telling me no, I'll keep offering. Because that's what grandmothers do. Love, Mom. I didn't send it right away. I let it sit for a week. Then I sent it. She called me the next day. She was crying again. But this time she said, Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't know you felt that way. I thought I was protecting you from the stress. I thought you wanted to be left alone. I laughed. Left alone? Baby, I've been alone. I've had 40 years of alone. I want to be in the middle of the mess. She laughed too. And then she said, come over tomorrow. Bring the soup. The next day, I went over. I brought the soup. I brought the little silver spoon. I brought a blanket I had knitted when my daughter was pregnant, the one I had kept in the closet. When I walked in, my granddaughter was crying. My daughter looked exhausted. She handed her to me. No instructions. No schedule. Just, here. I held her. She stopped crying almost immediately. She looked up at me with those big eyes. And I rocked her. In my arms. Not in the rocking chair that was still at my house. But it didn't matter. I was rocking her. My daughter took a shower. She washed her hair. She came out and ate a bowl of soup. She sat on the couch and just breathed. When the baby woke up, I handed her back. My daughter said, thank you, Mom. I said, that's what I'm here for. I didn't stay long. An hour, maybe 2. But when I left, I didn't feel lonely. I felt full. The quiet loneliness wasn't gone forever. But for that afternoon, it was quiet in a different way. Quiet like peace, not quiet like empty. If you're a grandmother who has felt that quiet loneliness, who has sat in a kitchen with soup on the stove and no one to eat it, I want you to know something. You are not alone. You are not a burden. You are not old-fashioned or pushy or wrong. You are a grandmother, and grandmothers matter. The research proves it. But more than that, your heart proves it. The love you have, that fierce, quiet, stubborn love, it doesn't disappear just because someone says not right now. Keep offering, keep knitting, keep making soup, keep showing up. And if you are a daughter or a daughter-in-law listening to this, please call your mom or your mother-in-law, not to ask for help, just to say, I see you, I need you, even if I don't always know how to let you in. That's the bridge, that's the repair, that's the secure base. My name is Nan and this is Secure Base, a place for real parents, real grandparents, and real messes. If this story made you feel something, please hit subscribe, because there are so many more stories to tell, and I would love to tell them to you. Now go call someone you love, and if you have soup in the fridge, bring it over.